welcome to another episode of I Take
D.
I'm Joel.
And I'm Carla.
And here we have some special guests today. We have Jose, we have Jess Marie. They're real good friends of ours. Last time you got to see Dana and Ricky, and you got to see Jeraida and even Tassiano. We lovingly call him Taco. That was in the summer of 2019, but today we have the privilege and the honor to have really good friends of ours. Welcome, guys, to our I Take D.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's really doing a pleasure. We want to go right into it, jump right into it by asking you guys, how did you meet?
All right, so we know each other since high school.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it was like kind of like we knew each other by just seeing each other in the hallways.
Okay.
You know, glancing at each other. But really, you know, I seen her. I don't know if she noticed me, but I used to
You
see
noticed
her.
her.
I noticed her.
That's what's important.
That's important. That's the important thing. And then after high school, we kind of reconnected on MySpace. I kind of like did a picture of her.
MySpace.
Yep.
Boy, that's old.
Old. That's old. So kind of like I liked the picture and she commented it, so I was like surprised, like wow, okay. She kind of commented back on me, so we kind of go back and forth, and you know, then we kind of ended up talking over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Till like probably like 5 in the morning, and then from there it just took off, like you know.
And here we are.
Yeah. How many years?
10.
10 years.
10 years of marriage. Hey, you know, every year, right? You keep adding to those years. So tell me, like, you know, we had an episode where we talked about, like, did you marry your soulmate? And we were very honest with everyone. We said we didn't know at the time whether we married our soulmate or not. Like, it was just, we took a leap of faith. We went into it not knowing. And now we know that we married our soulmate, but we found out that you know you married a soulmate when, as you go through the years, as you work on your marriage. So let me start with you, Jess Marie. Like, when was it or what was it that made you feel like, okay, I married my soulmate?
My mom knew him before I got to know him.
Mom Dukes knew him.
So he
Okay.
used to work with my
They know.
mom.
Yeah.
And so my mom knew a different side of him, not the side where like I want to make sure that my mother-in-law approves of me. It was more like they were just friends and they kind of knew each other.
Uh-huh.
So I think once I told my mom who I was dating and I wanted her to meet him, she was like, I already know him. He's such a good guy.
Wow.
So I think
yeah,
that
Mom
approval-
Dukes
Already,
approval,
I have
man.
points already.
Yeah, you already have points
accumulated.
Just hear that, couple.
Yeah,
Mom's
for real.
approval matters.
Still matters.
Yeah.
Like, hashtag it matters.
Yes.
Wow, that's really cool. So do you feel that's when you, like, once Mom said he's a nice guy, is that when you felt like, you know what, this could actually be serious?
Yes. That's when I was like, if my mom approved of him, and then I already was getting to know him, and he was such a good person. He was treating me and my son right.
That's important, folks. They gotta treat your people right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about for you, Jose? Like, what was it that made you feel like this is my soulmate?
So her personality,
Mm-hmm.
you know, really like caught me.
Mm-hmm.
Even, you know, she was beautiful.
Well, of course, that's the first thing you
But
want.
like, she was unique in her own way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she would love to help out. You know, even when we first started, like, you know, she would ask me if I needed something. She really helped me out in the beginning because I was struggling, you know, when we first met.
Yeah.
So, you know, getting out of a relationship and then coming into, you know, meeting her, she really helped me out in the beginning. So, you know.
There's something that we do know about you guys, and we've actually talked about it in our own show because we're in the same boat, and you guys are also a blended family. And for those of you who do not know what a blended family is, it's when people go into marriage or relationship, and that person, your spouse or your partner, has a child from a previous relationship or a previous marriage. And in today's world, that's not to put anyone to shame. Like, there's a lot of families like that, and God uses these opportunities to restore and to show forgiveness and restoration to families. And I know you guys are in the same boat.
Yeah.
So could you talk to us a little bit about, because I want people who are watching to hear that it's not abnormal but that there's still grace within a blended family, and there's love of God within a blended family. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I think it was easier for me because Jose had a little one, and it was easier for me to kind of adapt to a baby. I know it was harder for Jose because I already had an 8-year-old, so we were established in our ways.
Okay.
So it was hard at first just to kind of get out of the accustomed norm of me just being with my son and being a single mom, than to having somebody come in and put rules in place that were already there. So
I think that's really hard. If it's, when we first got married, I was a single parent for a really long time.
And very independent.
And I was really independent. So for us, it's really hard because we have established a foundation in the home. We established our rules, and here comes someone trying to just shake that foundation up. And I think one of the things that really helped us together is that when we got married, we became one. So becoming one means that everything around you, house rules, discipline, and all that, it has to be one decision, one solution. So for Joel and I, that established a foundation with our oldest. And now she could not just go to mom and say, oh, maybe dad will tell me something different. No, our yes was a firm yes, or our no was a firm no from both of us. And I think, that's what started our foundation, and even started with our discipline.
Yeah. Were there any challenges that you guys saw that within at the beginning of you guys blending your families together?
Yeah, I think the hardest part is setting your rules and and her accepting them.
Okay.
So I could be saying one thing and she could look at it a different way, and like you said, establishing that one, you guys are one, and agreeing on this is a yes, mom and dad approve it, like this is a yes, and knowing a no is a no. So if you guys, your mom and your dad, say one thing and then your mom says something else, then it's different. Like kids were, your family will be out of order. So
yeah, we've actually talked about that in our episodes where parents need to be on one page, on one mind, one spirit. I mean, everything needs to be done together, not allowing the kids to kind of, play team mom, team dad.
Exactly.
Where, no, they can't do that, because if mom said no, it's because she's already had a conversation with dad, or vice versa. Dad already had a conversation with mom. And so we're just solid on what we're saying, and that's it. We're not going to allow anything to change that.
That's right.
So knowing that you guys have some challenges within a blended family, like many of us do, it's very normal, folks. If you are on a blended family and you had your headaches, trust me, that is actually normal. Okay, that's very normal. You're talking to two blended families here. What made the dip? What was the where you got to see the light at the end of the tunnel for you guys?
So for me was when we started going to church and meeting God.
Okay.
Once we had that relationship with God, we realized that God had all the tools laid out for us to be able to have a healthy marriage, a healthy family. And I think, it was a working process because nobody just knows overnight. So you kind of work at it, but the tools were all there for us. It was just us getting to them and utilizing them.
That's wonderful. You touch on something that's very important. We share in a lot of our episodes where we can't stress it enough. Christ must be the center of all marriage, all relationships, in your kids. Don't have God compete for a place. A lot of people say have God as first and then your family second. How do you think my wife will feel if I say that God is first and my wife is second? No, God is the overall everything, and my wife is inside of that. My kids are inside of that. My job is inside of that. Ministry is inside of that. God's calling is inside of that. Everything falls within God like that. God doesn't have to compete, and my wife and children do not have to compete either. So remember that it's very important that we have Christ as the center of our lives.
Yes. That's important to have it as the foundation.
Absolutely.
No marriage you can't build a house on sand and expect it not to rumble when the hurricane or the storm comes. So building a firm foundation on Christ, it can establish your relationship. if you're not a blended family, you still have struggles even trying to discipline your own children.
Absolutely.
And that came from, they're not blended.
Mhm.
So can you just imagine what a blended family goes through, and the kids of that couple as well. So just establishing that foundation is so critical and so important. So I'm so glad you guys share that.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, if you could share an advice with folks who are watching and listening to the I Take D Ministry page. What would you share with them?
So I would say always have God at the center of all things,
Mhm.
even in your marriage, in your house. Having God and you're in the center of all things, things will blossom,
Mm-hmm.
and your kids will look up to you. And knowing mom and dad love each other, they always look toward God, in the good times and the bad times. And when they get older, they see that and they could pass that on, to their kids. So I feel that having God at the center, it matters a lot.
Excellent.
So I would say learning how to listen, because I didn't listen to him
Oh,
much.
okay. Was it because you were independent, or like what do you think was your challenge or struggle to listening, just being able to listen?
Yeah, so being able to listen to his ideas. So like if I wanted to do something, or this was already the rule in place, like why would I listen to him? Like he was a newcomer. Like you're not my son's father. Like there were so many things that were put in place, like so many barriers that I would put up, so then it wouldn't make him feel the person that he was in this household, as God calls him to be. So I would say learning how to listen, and even though I didn't always like it, it was just what I had to do for our marriage, our family.
That's very interesting. I shared not too long ago that for someone to really say they love, it requires sacrifice. Because when we talk about God, it says that God so loved the world, or he loved us, that he gave his son. Giving something, it's a sacrifice, especially someone like God's son, who he loved so much and loved so much that he gave him for us. And so marriage is the same thing. Like when we say we love someone, we're making a sacrifice to so many things, but the end result and the end reward and what comes after that is amazing.
Yeah. And one thing that if you can share, like you have been married for 10 years now, right? So one goal that, looking ahead in your marriage, what would you want to continue growing in your marriage?
I would say,
It's a good question. We're testing you guys now.
there's always room for growth.
Absolutely.
So I
we're
would
still
say,
growing.
I would say that, it's not always going to be picture perfect. You're going to go through the struggles, new obstacles. But I always feel that communication is key. Going to marriage retreats and all that, communication is big. If you don't communicate, then you don't know what's on her mind, what's on my mind, what things you guys want to accomplish as one. So I think communication is big, and communication leads to a lot of things.
That's right.
For a marriage.
So I think looking forward to us going on vacation more.
Ah.
That's a different story. But like our
Let's
kids
spending
are,
time together.
Yeah,
So
so
learn.
Yeah.
exactly. So like our kids are getting older, and I just feel like it's our time to just be. It's our time. It's like our marriage time. Like it's our time to enjoy our marriage. Besides the obstacles and besides everything that we've gone through, and like he said, like there will be obstacles that are gonna come up. Like we don't doubt that. But I feel like if we have a God in the center of our lives, our family, then we can accomplish everything.
That's wonderful. Look, I want to thank you guys for being candid and vulnerable and just sharing your hearts with us, because again, we're not experts.
No.
Yeah.
We're not experts. We're just trying to share our experiences so you could perhaps take those experiences and say, well, I'm not that weird, because you'll hear our weirdness and then you'll be like, okay, well, I'm not that weird. Know that this is I Take D Ministries. You can follow us on Facebook,
On YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube page, please, and share.
Yes, please do that. Again, we want to thank Jose and Jess Marie
Thank you for having us.
for just sharing some moments with us. We really do appreciate it. And, we'll keep seeing each other because, these are peoples. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are people. We really do appreciate your time. Please, again, Share this video with others. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.